What's going on, healthy gamers? Jack here with you. In this video you get to watch me do lots and lots and lots of squats, and this video is in response to a video put out by Seid challenging people to do 100 reps of squats in 25 minutes, so you'll just have to watch and see if I make it. So I'm going to use this opportunity to talk to you guys about mental fortitude and pushing past your perceived limits. Mental toughness, when it's boiled down, really is the ability to push and to keep pushing despite pain, despite hunger, despite fatigue, despite fear, despite anything else. It's the ability to keep pushing until you have reached your goal, no matter what obstacles come in your way. Mental fortitude is not something that you were either born with or born without. Mental fortitude is a skill that can be developed over time through use. It is just like bodybuilding. The more you work it, the more you'll grow. It is just like gaming. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Is it important that you develop mental fortitude in yourself? Hell yes. I think it is one of the most important skills and traits that you can develop as a person, and it has profound impacts on every aspect of your life. Here's a very interesting anecdote about Bruce Lee from his friend John Little. Apparently they were training together and they would run 3 miles a day at a pretty good pace, 21 to 22 minutes for 3 miles. And one day Bruce told John, we're going to run 5 miles. And John said, there's no way I can do that, I'm older than you. And so they said they did their normal 3 and then got on to their fourth mile. And in that 4th mile, John told Bruce about 4 minutes in that, I can't do it. I can't go on anymore. I might die. And Bruce said, fine, then die. And John said that made him so angry that he finished out the 5. After that run, John went to Bruce and asked him, why did he make him do that? Why did he say that? And Bruce told John, if you always put limits on what you can do, physical or anything else, it will spread over into the rest of your life. It will spread into your work, into your morality, into your entire being. There are no limits, there are only plateaus, but you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. If it kills you, it kills you. A man must constantly exceed his level. So we're at 28 reps right now, and the squats are starting to hurt. 29, 30 right here, and it is getting tough. I don't like the pain. I don't like that feeling. I could quit, but what would have happened if I had quit? Sure, I would have gained a respite from pain. I wouldn't have had to go through the torture that was the next 70 reps. Our purpose in life is not to seek security. Our purpose is not to go after comfort. Our purpose is not to live an easy life. Our souls are tempered by adversity. We crave challenges, and we are most fulfilled when we can push our limits. Look back through your own life. What are the accomplishments that you are most proud to have accomplished? Are those the ones that were easy and simple to do? Does anyone say, wow, what an awesome weekend. I sat around for the entire thing and just played video games and watched TV. I feel so accomplished and I feel amazing. No, nobody says that, ever. The accomplishments that you are most proud of in life are the ones that took blood, sweat, and tears to accomplish. So let me give you an example of one of my most cherished memories. This was for a German Armed Forces proficiency badge that we did in the Army. We actually had a German colonel visit us to handle this whole test, and it was a really cool deal. What it is that in the German Army you get a badge, bronze, silver, or gold, based on your ability to complete a whole series of athletic events. I think you had to do like a 300 or 3,000 meter run in a certain time, and you had to do a sprint in a certain time, be able to jump so high on a high jump, be able to swim 500 meters, and I don't remember the times. And then the final event was to do a 7.5 mile ruck march with 45 pounds on your back. So we did all those events back to back that day. So we had like a 3,000 meter run and a 500 meter swim, bench press your body weight for 20 times, and did some sprints. So it was pretty challenging when you put all of those together. But I was in pretty good shape and I was feeling good, and on the ruck march I was doing real well at about mile 4, but I had some moleskin on my feet to prevent blisters, and moleskin is just like a padding that it's almost like a band-aid. It sticks to your feet so that they don't rub so much on your boots, but my moleskin actually started to roll up inside my boots, so essentially I had this giant plastic ball inside my boot that was just rubbing my heels absolutely raw. But I was being really stupid. I didn't want to stop and take the time to remove those, so I ended up wearing giant blisters on the back of my heels, and because I had those, I started walking funny, so then I rubbed giant blisters on my toes and also on the bottom of my foot, so I had like my entire feet were just giant blisters, and I still had 3.5 miles to go, and those 3.5 miles were probably the most difficult, painful miles I've ever walked in my life. So just imagine having 45 pounds on your back and then having blisters across your entire foot, and then on top of that your legs are starting to cramp because you're walking all weird because your feet hurt, and then you have to do that for 3.5 miles. And so I barely made that finish time. I made it by like 2 minutes, and I collapsed afterwards. But you know what? It was worth it. It was the best feeling after that because I had pushed beyond all my limits before. If you asked me, hey, could you do a ruck march for 3.5 miles with blisters all around your foot, with your legs cramped up so far that you couldn't even extend them, I'd be like, hell no, I'm not going to do that. That sounds awful. But in the moment, my mental fortitude held up, and since then, I've been able to draw on that experience and think, I was able to do that. This isn't nearly as bad, so I can definitely finish this. It's been my experience that there's almost a tangible thing in your mind, and it's very difficult for me to explain, but this is the best way I can. It is a thing in your mind that almost pushes against you when things get really tough, and you can feel it, and you can feel yourself wanting to give up. And if you give up, you feel that thing wash over you. But if you push back and you say, I'm going to finish this, I'm going to win, I'm going to do whatever it takes, you can literally feel a force that you are pushing against in your mind, and overcoming that force means you are overcoming whatever adversity, whatever pain that you're in at that moment. I'd be really curious to see if anyone else has had that same experience where you feel an almost tangible thing pushing against you in your mind, making you want to quit, and you actually literally push against it in your mind. So if you had that, just let me know in the comments. I'd be really curious to see if that's a thing that other people experience. So let me tell you another experience where my mental fortitude was really tested. This was over 2 weekends ago, where I had my drill and we had a combatives tournament between our company, and combatives in the Army is basically just jiu-jitsu. We didn't do any strikes or anything aside from just your normal jiu-jitsu. So that's what you see in the UFC when they're on the ground, minus all of the punches and whatnot. So we had a combatives tournament, and I ended up fighting for the championship within the company for my platoon against a guy that I had lost to earlier, but because of the way the points had worked out, we were both in the championship, and I had made it a point in my mind that I was not going to lose to him no matter what. Actually, let me back up. In the fight we had where I lost to him, I had him in a triangle choke, and I was trying my hardest to squeeze and to choke him out, but he didn't tap, and then from that exertion, I was just tired. And I remember thinking, in my mind, I had already given up. Once he didn't tap from that triangle choke, I was like, you know what, I'm done, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing this anymore. And so after that, pretty much he got on top of me and started choking me out, and I didn't even resist, really. I was just like, okay, this is a good excuse to quit, so I tapped out. And immediately after I did that, I realized just what a shitty thing that was to do, to just give up and quit. And so I was really grateful for the opportunity to fight him again just about 10 minutes later for the championship. And I, in my mind, I really made that decision. No matter what happened, I wasn't going to quit. I wasn't going to let him tap me out. I wasn't going to let him beat me. And so this fight started off by him trying to put me into a guillotine, but he didn't have a very good hold, so he just was pulling real hard but didn't do much. And then he had me in his guard, and he was trying to squeeze the life out of me, and it hurt, but I wasn't going to quit to that. And I just eventually wore him down, and I was able to get full mount on him, and I was working several different kinds of submissions. And then the clock ran out, and I had won based on points by dominating the fight. And I remember distinctly in that fight, I was getting real tired, but I just had that little bit of extra motivation, of extra push. We were both tired, but I had that made up in my mind that I was going to win, and so I was able to just get the better of him because I had that push, and I could tell he was tired, and I could tell that he maybe didn't have that same mindset where he wasn't going to lose. I mean, he never tapped, and it was really good. I had some pretty good chokes, but I really think that what made the difference in that fight was my decision prior to it that I was going to win no matter what. So my message to you really is that no matter what you're doing in life, you need to make that conscious decision to see it through, to do it to the best of your ability, to not quit, even if it gets hard or painful or hot, or if you're tired, if you're sweaty, it doesn't matter, because it's not only about whatever it is that you're doing. It could be a very trivial thing that you're doing, like in the Army they always make us clean, and I could never understand why they were so adamant that we cleaned exactly right, but now I realize it's because it was building that mental fortitude and that discipline of doing everything you do in life to the best of your ability. I was going for 101 reps, but as you can see, I apparently lost count somewhere, so there's 100. And 101, airborne! And then an extra one for whatever reason, 102. So I would challenge you to take a camera, go to the gym, and do this. Either do 100 reps of 225 in as long as it takes you, or do as many reps as you can in 29 minutes.